Do you want to save money and make restaurant style stuff at home? Let me show you how to make this incredible homemade salsa using simple basic ingredients. And we're going to show you how we make restaurant style fajitas at home and save money instead of taking our family out to eat and spending oodles of money right now. So the homemade salsa is the highlight of this video. It is super, super easy. It uses common ingredients that you probably already have in your refrigerator, and it pairs perfectly with tacos, or in this case, fajitas, or if you're making burritos for dinner, or this salsa can just be a chips and dip snack any day. Seriously. All right, so before we get going with that delicious homemade salsa that is so cheap to make, we're going to get fajitas going on the grill. And then while the fajitas are cooking on the grill, that's when we're going to make our salsa. So stay tuned. That's coming up. It's super easy. All right. So making your own fajitas at home is super easy with skirt steak. Now, at our local HEB, I could get this skirt steak unseasoned for almost $10 a pound, $9.89 a pound. No seasoning on it at all. Honestly, it's shocking that this is even that expensive because it's not fancy meat. It's like leftover meat that they decided to make fajitas with, and now it's all the rage, right? So you can get this over here. They have a section where you can get pre-seasoned skirt steak and other things. Like you could get meat for tacos, whatever, but it's pre-seasoned. And if you buy it in a large enough quantity, you can get it for $8.99 a pound. So that's $1 less a pound than what it is to buy it unseasoned. So that's what I grabbed. And actually, truth be told, well, this will all be covered in great detail in another video, but I had a coupon that was going to get me an additional $5 off if you bought the fajita meat plus this other thing. And then I get to the checkout and the coupon was right. Crystal was wrong. I had to buy an even larger size of both items, which ended up, it just wasn't, it's not something I would have even bought because I can get the olive oil that I was buying cheaper in bulk at Sam's. You just got to watch the details. I thought I read the details of the offer 100% well, and clearly I didn't. So I was really bummed and really frustrated. But when I got home, and I wasn't going to be like, oh no, at the checkout, send it back because it's raw meat and whatever. It was fine, I suppose. So when I got home and I was really frustrated and I was telling my husband about it, he's like, hey, here's the positive. If we went and had fajitas at Lupe Tortilla, we're going to pay $50 for half a pound. So this is a great alternative to eating out. This is cheaper. This is fine, which is true. So we're seeing the positive, and we decided to have a big family night restaurant style dinner at home. So I'm going to cut up an onion and I'm going to cut up some bell peppers. We also like those bell peppers for salads and for sheet pan dessert, or not desserts, sheet pan vegetable trays. But we're going to put all of this on the grill. I thought that Lenny was going to take the whole 9 by 13 and put it on the grill, but instead he ended up taking the meat out and putting it directly on the Traeger. And we ended up losing some of the onions and peppers. They got a little charred up, which is not good to eat. I mean, like beyond, it was bad. Some of them. It's only, probably half. But it all worked out fine. Dinner was absolutely delicious. But you can just take your 9 by 13 or a cookie sheet. We really probably should have put it on a cookie sheet. And you can put it out on the grill and cook it. And then that way you're not heating up your oven and you're not heating up your house when it's already 100 degrees here in South Texas. And it's only May. My goodness. So I don't know if you can hear that. That's one of my dogs in real life, like not in the video, that's snorting. Um, it's Princess. It's that little dog right there. But she's doing it while I'm doing voiceover. Anyway, my dogs always just gather in the kitchen. They are hoping and praying that I drop something that they can eat. Not even kidding you. All right, so for these fajitas, I'm also going to make a can of charro beans. I really like the HEB brand, but the cheapest way is to make your own pot of beans. But I was not prepared in advance for that. I did not soak any beans. And so we're just going to open up this can that I had in my pantry that needed to be used in the next 6 months or so before it expires. And not a lot of people, beans are kind of, I love beans, but beans are really a take it or leave it thing at my house. I probably love beans the most, and everybody else is like, if they're there, they're there. If they're not, it's not a big deal. So it really wasn't a big issue that we only had the one can. Some people put them in their fajitas, some people didn't. So all is well. All right, so Lenny is helping me get all of this together, and he's got dinner. He's got the fajitas out on the grill, and I've got the beans going on the stove, and we're actually going to eat up leftover rices because we had multiple leftover rices that needed to be eaten up that were in the fridge. I'll show you those in a minute. And I am going to make this salsa. So this is what you're here for. This is what you're waiting for. I want you to grab a food processor, and we're going to do it all in the food processor. This is going to be incredible. You're going to absolutely love it. And you're not going to believe how easy this is. And it reminds me, I don't know if you're a fan of, or if there are any Chewy's Mexican food restaurants, Tex-Mex restaurants near you, but this reminds me of Chewy's salsa. Super good. All right, so you're going to be using the S blade on your food processor, and you're going to need Roma tomatoes, a yellow onion, some garlic, jalapenos, however hot you want it. I did 2 jalapenos, and I'm going to show you how to make it not so hot or make it hotter. Some cilantro, some salt, cumin, and then you also need limes, which I don't have here in the picture. All right, take your yellow onion, and we're going to just slice it up into big chunks, and we're going to throw those right in there on top of that S blade and just kind of evenly distribute it. Then we're going to take our tomatoes, the Roma tomatoes, and we are going to cut them into fours and stack them all in there. Okay, just put them all in. Also, take some of, and I do some layering in here to make it easier. That cilantro is pre-washed. We're going to just take a whole bunch of it. I'm making a lot of salsa here, so that was probably at least a cup, and chopped it roughly and put it in there just to make it easier to kind of distribute it around. On your jalapenos, since I'm doing two, I did one with seeds. The other one, because I don't know how hot this is going to be and I don't want it to be too hot for my children, we're going to remove the seeds on the second one. And the best way to do that is with a spoon and just strip them out of there, just like this, and remove as many of the seeds as possible so that it will cut down on it. You know, you're not going to get as much heat from that particular jalapeno. Distribute them in there evenly, and then keep adding our tomatoes, and we're going to add some garlic, and you don't even need to chop, you just need to get the peel off of the outside of the garlic. You may feel like you can't cram much more in here. Just check it with your lid and see where everything's at. You just need for the lid to be able to go on and you'll be good. And then we're going to add a couple of cloves of garlic, and then we'll add salt and cumin. And you want to be careful when you're adding your cumin. I have added way too much cumin before because I buy my spices in bulk. I'm just getting the skin off of that. I buy my spices in bulk, and you've got the two options. You've got one side where it'll pour out, and then you've got the other side where it'll shake out. And I've opened the wrong side and went to shake, so I thought, but instead it poured, and a huge 3 or 4 clumps fall out, and you're like, what do I do? And they're already submerged, with stuff all over them. So you just want to be careful. I mean, you can still eat it. It's just going to be very cuminy. And cumin has a very strong smell to it. So I'm using a spoon to control it here because a lot of times the shaker doesn't let out enough, and then the pouring lets out too much. Do make sure you have plenty of salt. Those tomatoes need salt. Okay, and then you can either use the pulse, excuse me, you can either do the pulse feature or high or low, whatever. This is a Cuisinart. I've had it for probably 12 years. And you can take it as slow or as fast as you want. Start off slow and then speed up if you need to. It doesn't matter. You're not going to do this wrong, okay? And I was worried about the last 2 tomatoes not fitting in there, so I just waited until I could do a little bit of grinding in there and then added them. And then we're going to speed it up and we're just letting this chop, chop, chop. And as you do this, your tomatoes are going to be releasing a lot of liquid and the onions too. And you're not adding any liquid to it, right? It's making its own liquid. And then always taste test it and see what's missing. So this was good. And I'm like, this is so good, but it's missing something. What is it missing? It's not salt. A lot of times, if it's not right, it's salt that's missing. So I did add a little bit of salt and I just could not put my finger on it. And then I realized that I completely left out the limes, and they are super important to your homemade salsa. So you just want to keep taste testing it. I have these little bowls and I taste test everything. I taste test my spaghetti sauce, my anything that I'm making, soups, things that I'm trying to make sure my salt levels are right, my seasoning levels are right. So at some point I realized, oh my goodness. So when you're done with this, we're going to serve this with our dinner. But what's left over, we're just going to put it in a mason jar and pop it in the refrigerator, and it will keep in the fridge for a week. So now I've realized it's lime that I forgot. So we're going to take those 2 limes and cut them open and squeeze them in there. You could also use a lime or lemon squeezer. That'll help that will help prevent any seeds from getting into your salsa. But at this point, I just wanted dinner to be done. And to my knowledge, there were no seeds that made it in. But we're going to put both of those limes in there. And let me just tell you, this made all the difference. So, if at all possible, make your salsa a little bit ahead of time. You can totally make it right now and serve it right now. 100% fine. But if you put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, it really helps those flavors to kind of come together really well and mix well together. Now, what are some things that you could do with leftover salsa? Obviously, you can make it to serve with your fajitas or tacos or whatever. Oops. Whatever Tex-Mex dish that you're making. But we like to have chips and salsa as a snack just any day of the week. That's always really yummy. And something else that I like to do with salsa is cook with it. So I have a beans and rice dish that I make that's a one-pot meal that's a meatless meal. I will share that with you guys soon. It requires salsa. It is perfectly fine to make your own salsa for that. Another thing you could do if you're like, I have 2 cups of salsa left over, I don't know what to do with it, I want to use it to make a meal, pour it over some chicken breasts in the slow cooker. It will be incredible. It will be some of the best, most tender, fall apart chicken you've ever had. So good. And then shred it up and serve it in tacos, or serve it in tortillas, I should say. Super good. All right, this made all the difference in the world. And I had already taken some of this salsa out and let kids snack on it because they were patiently waiting for dinner to be ready. Um, so good. So delicious. Very easy to make. You do not have to be a pro chef, a pro cook. If you are just starting out cooking, make this. You can do it. I believe in you. And I was wrong. That's not a Cuisinart. It's a KitchenAid. I had to go look. Oh my goodness. All right. I think you're going to love it. You should make this like tonight. Have a date night at home. Have a at-home restaurant style night. Save money. Don't go out to eat. It'll be worth it, I promise. So the meat came in off the grill. There's the dogs. They're like, "Please, please, please drop something." Um, there's those veggies. It's okay. Lenny's gonna chop up the steak. It was delicious. Do you like videos like this where we're cooking in the kitchen together? Let me know. Could you care less? Do you think it's fun? Are you like, it doesn't matter to me. Just teach me something. Just show me how to cook something. We really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. And we're very different when like, I don't know. We're just really different when it comes to the ways that we cook and prepare things. And so we have a lot of fun in the kitchen together, and I will spare you all the conversation that's happening. Although I did save a little bit of blooper. I will share the bloopers at the end of this video. Lenny's like singing and being silly, and he had no idea. But I asked him first if I could share it, so we'll have that for you at the end. All right, we cut up our steak. I forget if it's against the grain or with the grain. I don't know. I forget. Look it up. There is leftover Spanish rice from a few nights before. There's the tortillas that I heated up on the stovetop that are the HEB brand tortillas. There is that cute little 88-cent salsa holder. Like, we're for real at a restaurant. The little 88-cent salsa holder that I got at Walmart. And that jar, that mason jar right there, is some leftover beans and rice mixed together that I made a few nights before. I want to make sure that all of that gets used up. There's that watermelon that we've been eating on for a few days. I did grab an avocado that I'm going to slice up. Myself and a couple of others will eat the avocado. And we're just going to have a delicious dinner.
La, 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 la.
Bring it in some. Well, I don't know that that's big enough.
Yeah, it will. Come on, get your knives going. Get your knives going.
All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.